Hi, welcome back to Research and Education, ED 590. It's Dr. Henkel here, and I'm going to go ahead and give you an overview of what to expect this week. So we'll go ahead and open up in a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for loving us, and I just pray that you would guide us and help my students as they work through their lessons today. Help me to speak clearly, to be able to articulate what they need to hear to be able to complete the assignments. And I pray that you would work with them and just give them the wisdom and the knowledge that they need to be able to complete these assignments. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Okay, so welcome back. We're going to have a lot of assignments to kind of discuss this week. I'm also going to kind of go over some material that will help you with the assignments, just to kind of get it more digestible. So this week you're going to be going over writing the statement of the problem. I like to refer to it as the problem statement. And here are the learning objectives for this week taken out of your Creswell text. You'll download this PowerPoint and take notes on that. Now here are 3 articles that you're going to need to download and save and print if you have access to be able to print. They're over teacher stress, and there are different methodologies used for these. There's quantitative, qualitative, and mixed methods approach. And you're going to have 2 assignments that you're going to use those for this week. Now here, we'll go over this in a second. This is a PowerPoint to help you go over the assignments. So first I'll go over the assignments, but then if you go here, it's what I'm going to show you on this video, but if you need it to have it, I uploaded it for you. Okay, so here's an overview of Chapter 2 over Creswell. It's lengthy, but I give you a lot of good information that you can write down on your notes as I did the study. Okay, so just know that that's there, and just make sure you have enough time to go over that. Okay, so 2.1 is your first assignment this week. You're going to compare the 3 different types of research essays. Okay, so you're going to read the 3 different articles on teacher stress and the 3 different methodologies. You're going to write an essay on the similarities and the differences of the 3 types. So here's some 3 questions to start you with the thinking process. How are they different? How are the participants different? And how is the data analysis different? Be sure whenever you're quoting something to use quotation marks if it's a direct quote, and then give the page number. And then here is how you would cite that source. So also, you're going to make sure it's 2 to 3 pages in length. It's going to be double spaced, 1-inch margins, 12-point font. And then you'll upload your response here. And then here's exactly how you're going to get graded on that. So you're just going to read all 3 and then just compare. You're going to kind of dissect and figure out how are these articles built and conducted differently, okay? So it really helps you to start thinking critically about the methodologies that we use in research that you've already learned in Chapter 1, okay? For that assignment, that's worth 20% of your grade, overall grade, because that's under the category of weekly assignments and forum post, okay? Okay, so let's go to 2.2. So now, with those same articles, what I want you to do is identify and review the problem statements for the quantitative study and the qualitative study. Okay, so you're just going to copy paste, tell me what they are. Just type those in. And then explain how the quantitative study statement of the problem is best suited for quantitative, and how the qualitative one is best suited for qualitative. So why are they designed that way? How did the authors do a good job at formulating and developing their statement problems? If the researcher in the quantitative study wants, if you wanted to change your quantitative study to qualitative, how would you go about doing that? So you're going to let me know. And then also, let's say our qualitative researcher wants to change it theirs to quantitative. How would they go about changing that? So you're going to critically think about that and use what you're learning in Chapter 2 to help you with that, and then also what I'm going to go over in this other PowerPoint here in a second. So here's exactly how you're going to get graded for that. So just type it up in a Word document, submit it to me. Cite your sources on the end of that, so you should have a reference list for both of these assignments because you are using 3 different articles. You'll find how to do that in your APA book, so if you don't know how to do that, let me know, and I like to make little APA videos, so that's something that I could create this week and upload it as an additional resource for y'all on how to cite journal articles for your reference list. So y'all let me know what you need. For that assignment, it's 20% of your grade, and that's also a weekly assignment grade, okay? Okay, let's see. Okay, yay. So now we're going to get started on our first research proposal assignment, okay? This is also 20% of your grade. Anything research proposal related is 20%. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to choose a topic that you want to research, okay? So this is going to be your main driving topic for your research proposal that you are developing in this course. You won't finish the whole thing until week 16, okay? So what is that topic? What's something that you want to study that you feel like would help you in your field, in your specialty, in your area? Please sure whenever you choose a topic, make sure that you're going to be able to stick with that topic, okay? Then you're going to write your problem statement of the problem. And this actually has 5 components, okay? And you'll learn about this. I'll teach you more about this in just a second, but here they are. You're going to identify your topic. You have a research problem. What is that? What's the problem? Then you're going to justify why you even should do this study. Then you're going to tell me what deficiencies there are in the literature. Where are there gaps in the literature? You know, are you just adding another research project to the field of literature that's already saturated? We don't want that. So you need to tell me how it's going to help build into the scholarly field, okay? Also, who's your audience? Who's going to benefit from this study? Whenever you do this, it'd be good if you're doing like a quantitative study to try to include some statistical trends. And use quotes from qualitative studies, and you'll learn more about that this week. Now remember, this is just a draft, and it's part of your introduction of your research proposal. So this will be a working document. You will revise it. Whenever you save something, well, here's how you're going to be graded, okay? So just take a look at that. Remind me if I forget, I'm going to tell you how, let me write it down. How to save a document, that's important. Okay, I'll get to that when we get to the template. So, that's that, okay? And then the rest is easy. You've done them before, so I'm not going to go into details. Your weekly notes, that is 10% of your overall grade. And then your weekly reflection, that is 20%. Now, I did have somebody ask me a question about this. You need to have 2 sections for your reflection. Your first section, you're basically just summarizing what I teach you, what you've learned in your reading from your Creswell textbook. And then your second paragraph is going to be your response. How is this applicable? Did you agree with something or disagree with something in particular? And then how is it going to benefit you in your ministry or your education? Okay, so 2 different sections. So you should have 2 headings. You should have a summary heading and then a response heading, please. Okay, so now that's that. Let me pull up this PowerPoint. Okay, so for week 2, we've got some things we need to kind of dig into a little bit that I want to explain. So you can do these assignments a little bit without difficulty. So for assignment 2.1, quantitative research, you're going to use instruments. Okay, so remember 2.1 is you're comparing the three different types of articles and how they analyze their data. So this would be your quantitative on teacher stress, qualitative on teacher stress, and mixed methods on teacher stress. How do they analyze their data differently? Okay. So remember, in quantitative data, they're going to use instruments, and it's always numerical data. Now, some of those instruments can be surveys, questionnaires, standardized tests, or checklist. Now, it's collected usually from a large group of people, a lot of people, so they can apply that to a larger population also, so that's the benefit of quantitative research. I personally love quantitative research. That's what I did my dissertation on. It was quantitative study. The data analysis is always going to answer your research questions. So when you're looking at how they analyze this, did they answer the research question? That's something you could be thinking about as you do assignment 2.1. Remember, data analysis is always going to be looking at your mean, okay, the average within those, the data collected, your standard deviation, that's how far it is away from the mean, and then the frequency of the values, the number of times that it occurs in the data. Okay, so for qualitative research, it's different. So that's a completely different way that they analyze data. They're going to be looking at participants, and they're going to use things called protocols. Now, these just ask general questions, and a lot of times they'll start off broad, and then their questions can change over time with their study. Some examples of these protocols that they use, there's interviews or observational, things that they see. Some of those things are examples are text analysis, images, you can transcribe audio recordings. So be thinking about these things as you're looking at that qualitative study. What did they use? Do they have observations, diary entries, okay, and so forth. So they analyze words or pictures to describe a central phenomenon of the study. You're going to hear that word a lot with qualitative research. What's the central phenomenon, okay? And then there are also going to be broad categories that emerge and themes that emerge to represent the findings. So be thinking of that as you do assignment 2.1. So assignment 2.2. Remember, that's the one that you're going to be changing this problem statement from quantitative to qualitative, qualitative to qualitative. You're going to identify the statement of the problem within the study. Okay, so let's talk about what's a statement problem. What's the problem of the statement? For quantitative, it's going to measure variables. For qualitative, it doesn't. Okay, the variables impact an outcome. They test theories, and they are applied to large groups of people. Okay, so quantitative studies will explain or predict relations among variables. So that's pretty easy. You've learned about variables even in high school, so this isn't new. Now qualitative, now what do? How do they develop their statement problem? Well, they're going to learn views from people so that they plan to study, okay? They assess and they can process this over a period of time. Remember, because quantitative data, you're just getting a snapshot. You have those test scores, you can look at it. With qualitative, it can be over a long period of time, okay? Then they can generate theories and obtain detailed information from a few people or research sites, okay? So it's smaller, it's more condensed. Now that you can't generalize across a large group, okay? You would have to do more studies to be able to do that. Now qualitative studies will explore a problem, okay? So hopefully that helps you with assignment 2.2 as you're trying to identify what the problem statements were for those assignments. So first, remember, you're going to identify them, and then you're going to change them. How would you change them? You don't necessarily have to do it. Just tell me how you would do it. Okay, so 2.3, moving on. So awesome. So now we're at our research article. Or research proposal, okay? You're going to write your own statement of the problem statement, okay? So how do you do that? So let's go over that. So the first thing you have to do is you choose a topic. Now this week you're going to choose a topic. Next week you're going to tell the class what your topic was. So I really want you to hone in, because if you change your topic now, you're going to have to rewrite everything, and we don't want to have to do that. So also what you're going to have to do is figure out if there's enough literature on your topic before you settle on that topic. And I'll kind of show you, let me write that down, some places where you can find literature, okay? But I've had that happen for a student before. They chose a topic and then they realized, oh wow, Miss Henkel, Dr. Henkel, there's not really that much literature out there for me to be able to do my literature review and things like that. So that person had to start over, which a lot of it is because we're trying to get EBSCO, and I'll talk more about that. But if we had that, that wouldn't have happened. So it's just access to the literature, because literature is out there, just sometimes we don't have access without paying for it, okay? So anywho, so you're going to choose your topic and stick with it. It's introduced in the first paragraph, so you're not going to be going and not telling the reader what it is that they're going to be learning about. You just start that off from the beginning. Now, you start off broad to gain the reader's interest, because later you're going to get more specific. But number 2, you're going to decide. So you've chosen your topic. Now you're going to decide, am I going to do a quantitative or qualitative? For this class, I don't want you to do a mixed method study. That's too advanced. Let's just pick a quantitative or qualitative study. So remember, you learned in detail about what those were in chapter 1. So go back to chapter 1 and decide, would this topic be better suited for quantitative or qualitative? So once you've done that, then you get to determine your research problem. So you have your topic, you know your methodology, now you're going to figure out what your problem is. This is what you want to study, okay? This is what you're trying to find more information on. This is what you're investigating, okay? So you're going to introduce the problem in your opening paragraph. Your topic is going to be broad, but your research problem is going to narrow the focus down, okay? Number 4, justify the research problem. Go ahead and give me several reasons why that issue is important, okay? Now, you're going to need to use research to back that up. Don't just tell me, I think it's important because, and then don't cite a source, and don't say I. You're going to use the literature to build your case, okay? Number 5, state why what we currently know about your research problem, why is it deficient? Like I said earlier, it's like you're identifying the gaps in the literature. Give me 2 or 3 reasons that tell us that there's a need for your study. There's not enough information on the study. It's not saturated, okay? And then finally, you're going to identify the audience. It's always important to let us know who's going to benefit from your study. So some examples could include policymakers, researchers, practitioners, and those involved in the study. So you're going to state that. Now, let's keep going. There's more to this. Okay, so choosing a topic and writing the statement of the problem. So there's going to be strategies that you can use to choose your topic. So you can write your statement of the problem section and use a flow map, okay? You're going to include 5 paragraphs, okay? So you should have a paragraph for each element of this statement problem. Is your topic, research problem, justification, deficiencies, and your audience. So 5 paragraphs. You're going to write them in order. And if you would like to use a flow map to help you generate and get that going, you can do that to help you organize that, okay? Okay, so I hope that helps with that. Okay, so 2 things that I wrote down is literature. Where do you find all this literature? So, okay, we have been talking with the board to be able to get approval to purchase EBSCO. And EBSCO has like a ginormous database that can give you access to tons and tons of literature when you wouldn't have to pay for it. I contacted Dr. Butts about that. We had a temporary password and that's not working because we were supposed to purchase it in August. So I will keep you updated on that because we should have access to that. So I'm praying that that comes to fruition. in the meantime, let me show you some good places to go ahead and find some research. So go there, let's go home, and then there should be a library tab. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I found it. So go to dashboard. That's where I went, to my dashboard. And then you're going to scroll down, however far it is for you. And go to library resources. Okay, so here's a lot of places that you can go to find research. Okay, so here's EBSCO Essentials. It's not as grand as EBSCO, but it's a good place to start that we have access to. So let's say you were looking for teacher stress articles, because that's your topic. Remember, your topic is broad, so you can just type that in. And then if you're going to get more specific, you could type different things about that. Right, got it. So look, this one's peer-reviewed. We want peer-reviewed articles. Click full text, because sometimes they won't give you access to the full thing. So if you click that, now we went from 500,000 to 100,000. So you can keep filtering this down, but there's plenty of stuff there on that. So EBSCO is a good, Essentials is a good place to go. There's also one called ERIC. This is a very popular one, so you can use ERIC. Google Scholar is also a good one that I recommend. Perhaps the Tennessee Electronic Library. So just know that those are all here, but those are my 3 favorites. And then as we gain more access, I will give that to you as soon as we, Lord willing, get access to EBSCO. Now, I did something that y'all need to be aware of. Okay, let me go to dashboard. I needed to revamp one of your materials. So go to course materials, and it says research proposal formatting updated August 30th. So I updated it. So I want you to throw away the old one and print out this new one. Don't use the old one, because it just needed to be revamped a little bit. Not much, but just a little on a few things. So let me move myself up here. Okay, so it starts off, here's your title page. So you just plug everything in as so. Here's your abstract. What I went ahead and did is I added what weeks or week you will be working on a particular section. So it just helps me, and I hope it helps you. So in week 10, we're going to discuss the abstract, and then week 16, you're going to have to do it on your own, okay? So just know that that's when that's discussed. Okay, now I redid a few things here. I wanted you to have a separate introduction. So in week 16, you're just going to add 2 to 3 paragraphs that just kind of introduces your study, okay? To kind of give an overview of what your study is about. Then, this was already here, but I went ahead and put in that you're going to do it in week 2, which is this week. This is where you're going to write your statement of the problem section. You see how your heading is here? Okay, you already have your level headings here. And then you're going to work on it again in week 10. Your purpose of the study is done in week 10 also, because you're working on your introduction section in week 10. So even though we start this in week 2, we don't hit back in this section until week 10. Your research questions are going to be done in week 4 and in week 10. This is in week 10. Your literature review is done in week 11. And then week 13 is your methodology section. And all of those components, participants, and so forth are part of that. And then your conclusion is going to be written in week 16. You would get rid of, anyhow, I don't have that gap there. Week 16 for your conclusion. And then your references you'll be working on the whole time. You will be doing annotated bibliography, and then you'll also be doing your literature review, so you can start plugging those in as you have them. Now, I said on here, be sure you do a hanging indent. If you don't know how to do a hanging indent, just type it all out, and then you do this paragraph. It's right here, special. So your other original document had first line. Let me show you what that looks like. See how that's just like a normal paragraph. When you do your reference list, each reference needs to be in hanging indent format, and that's how you do that. Now, how to save this. So you're going to be working on this throughout the semester. So it's a working document, so I want to be able to keep track of what edit version you're sending me, and then you as well when you receive it back from me. So what you're going to do is you're going to open it and you're going to do save as. So browse. I'm just going to save this to my desktop. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this, and I would put Brittany Henkel, put your name first, research proposal, and then I'm saving it to work on it, so that would be 1. Okay, so save. Then as you work on it and you do some stuff and you're like, okay, I'm ready to save this and send it off and submit it for this week, then you're going to go here, save as, browse, and you're going to just put a 2 and then save it, and then you would send this to me, and then when I give you feedback, I would save it as document 3. So I hope that makes sense. I think I went over everything that I wanted to help you with this week. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here to help you, and thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great week. Bye-bye. Maybe. Bye.